Preston, Governor Inslee's office says they get threats on a regular basis, and the Washington State Patrol takes them very seriously. Right now, the FBI is already preparing for election security, with tensions running high across the country.
This is very disturbing to me. I know Governor Whitmer personally. I know she has shown great courage throughout these tumultuous times.
Governor Jay Inslee responding to the stunning and elaborate plot to kidnap Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Agents foiled the alleged scheme, charging 13 people, some tied to an extremist militia group. Governor Whitmer addressed the political tensions roiling our country.
This cannot stand, and we have to call it out for what it is. It is domestic terrorism.
Governor Inslee's office says right now there aren't any known threats against him.
There will be appropriate security provided for your governor, I'm sure.
Washington State Patrol says they vigorously protect the governor, saying threats against public officials are unfortunately a common occurrence in these unprecedented times. But each and every one is investigated thoroughly, adding a threat to a governor or other public official is a threat against all of us. Heading into the election around the country, the FBI says agents are bracing for unrest as fears grow about potential violent clashes. Law enforcement expert Jim Fuda says by now agencies are running through different scenarios of what could play out.
Knowing their ideology, is there any more chatter coming up? Are they training more extensively? You know, these are the kinds of things that are being looked at. The goal is plan for worst case and hope for best case scenario.
I think we are more cautious as far as interacting with each other.
Agung Soderman is the general manager at S&J Food Distributors in Tacoma, talking about the challenges of keeping a safe work site and the challenge of staying in business during the COVID downturn in the economy. The governor says S&J is eligible for a portion of the new federal $15 million small business grant and invited Soderman to be part of his news conference.
Then we can focus on actually doing our business and then running our business and planning our business.
And I believe we are going to get through this because we are going to knock down these infection numbers over time, and we are going to rebuild our economy.
And I would be able to reopen this building and make it the neighborhood movie house that everyone has always wanted it to be.
David McCrae says he could use the help like that federal grant to upgrade the Arc Lodge cinemas in Seattle's Columbia City to COVID safety standards. I asked the state commerce director about it.
Might they be eligible for some of these federal grant monies?
Certainly, they might be. We know that hospitality, recreation, and entertainment, performance businesses are certainly particularly challenged.
Right now, McCrae is hoping a GoFundMe effort will help, and any state and federal help is also welcome.
Everybody's looking forward to the day when we can reopen and be open for business.
Keith Eldridge, KOMO News.
Well, there have been several treatment trials underway for Regeneron here in the Puget Sound area, and now there is a push for prevention trials. UW and Fred Hutch are putting out a call for volunteers. They want to test that drug to see if it could help prevent the spread of the virus.
Antibodies neutralize the virus, so quite exciting.
Big hopes surround an experimental antibody drug by Regeneron. Dr. Ruan Barnabas with UW Medicine explains.
We think that this antibody cocktail has the potential to both treat COVID-19 and to prevent infection.
Researchers at UW Medicine and the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center have teamed up to see if the antibody cocktail could potentially stop the spread of the virus.
These antibodies bind on the spike protein, and that helps it neutralize the virus. The virus can't then attach to human cells.
Starting today, 2,000 volunteers are being recruited nationwide for a prevention trial. The trial will involve people who've had close exposure to the virus from a housemate or family member. It'll see if the drug could prevent uninfected people from getting the virus.
Initial data are encouraging.
To qualify for the prevention study, volunteers must have a household member test positive for COVID-19. As part of the study, 10 follow-up visits will be required. Dr. Shelley Karuna is at Fred Hutch. She works with Dr. Barnabas on the prevention study.
If you have someone living in your household who has SARS-CoV-2 infection, you may feel fear about how they're doing, fear about getting the infection yourself. And right now, we really have very few options in those cases other than the proven wearing masks, physically distancing. But if we could add another option for folks there, I think that's really excellent.
Well, Mary Preston, the city and that collective, the group of artists responsible for this mural, were tipped off to some anti-police messages inside of one of those letters. So that collective then asked the artist who did that letter to cover those messages up. And that is a decision that is not sitting well with everyone. Striking a deal with the city of Seattle, artists have brought that Black Lives Matter mural on Pine Street back to life, an effort to preserve the art that started to deteriorate after the chop. Behind it, Vivid Matter Collective. And according to the mayor's office, that group has asked one of the artists involved to, in a sense, clean up their letter, citing anti-police messaging inside of it. That artist did not want to speak with us on camera, but Charlotte DeFever, who works with Capitol Hill Pride, echoed some of his thoughts.
It's just heartbreaking to sit there and see an artist having to paint over his own words. That shouldn't be happening.
That letter, the E in matter, now being touched up.
It's censoring an artist's creativity and his voice and his words. It's about literally how we feel about SPD.
The mayor's office saying in regards to the messaging, quote, while the mayor does not agree with the sentiments expressed, that wasn't the intention of this project.
They may not like the words and things like that, but, again, please respect artists' rights